Hey guys, my name's Ed, and today I want to talk to you guys about the helmet that I use. For work, I use an Opscore SF high-cut helmet. What you'll see a lot of guys do, specifically in the reconnaissance world, is take out bump helmets or non-ballistic helmets when they're doing special inserts like jumping, diving, or walking really long distances. To me, the benefit of actually having some sort of ballistic protection outweighs the potential risk of a heat injury or the added agony of carrying an extra couple of pounds on your head. These days, modern ballistic helmets are getting so good, they're almost as lightweight as a bump helmet would be anyways. To me, almost regardless of what I'm doing, I see a huge benefit or great benefit, as it were, to bringing out some sort of ballistic protection, if for nothing else than your head. Your head is going to be the first thing that you use to expose yourself in order to observe the enemy, observe the battlefield, or gain better essay on where you are and where you're going to be going. So it makes sense to have some sort of ballistic protection on your head. And because I'm going to be exposing myself, that's also why I have helmet scrim on my head, to break up my silhouette just a little bit more. All right guys, the next thing I want to talk to you about is my night vision. So I'm running a set of dual tube night vision. You guys may have noticed that I have them spray painted, which is kind of a taboo thing to do because of how expensive they are. My thought process is that it is a tool and it should be treated as such. There's no real benefit to having a huge black blob on your forehead, especially when you're talking about target ID and breaking up your silhouette at longer distances. This does that for me. This breaks up my silhouette. This prevents a situation where somebody can ID a giant black bulbous object on my forehead from a greater distance, and that's why I've spray painted them. On the helmet, they are attached by a Wilcox mount, which is probably the gold standard when it comes to running any sort of night vision on your face. You have the ability to adjust it up and down as required, and you can also run it at various angles depending on whether you're patrolling or doing some sort of structure clearance or close quarters battle. Moving to the sides, you guys can see that I'm using a set of Peltors. There's so many good brands out there and so many different types of headsets. I don't really consider myself an expert on any of them. The only thing that I really look for in a set of hearing protection is that they have good comms quality and good sound protection from blasts or gunshots or whatever it may be, and that they can click on and off from my head. So that's why I have these Peltor adapters for my arc rails on my Opscore SF helmet. I can clip them out off away from my ears and allow for some passive cooling if I'm doing a super long infill and don't necessarily need to have ear protection or ear pro on the entire time. It allows you to stay cooler and ultimately increase your awareness because you're not stuck thinking about, wow, this really hurts my head and I'm really hot. The benefits of having some sort of passive cooling and not having your ear pro permanently affixed underneath your helmet, I think is hugely beneficial. Those are some of the things that I look for in ear pro, whether it's the Opscore amps, something from Invisio, or in this case, Peltors. Moving further back on my kit, you guys can see that I have a Surefire white light and I have an S&S Precision mount. So it's placed pretty much all the way back here for a couple of reasons. One, when I turn this thing on and it's facing toward a ceiling, it's going to create somewhat of an umbrella effect. When I'm doing SSE or sensitive site exploitation inside of a target that we might be hitting or a building, or I just need to use it for administrative purposes to see, it gives me a blooming effect and can capture a bigger picture of the room by spreading the light out further inside the room. All right, on the back of my helmet, I have a battery pack retainer from Forge Concepts. The thing I like about this battery pack is that it actually allows me to access my battery compartment so I can change batteries on the fly. It has Velcro on the back, so any sort of unit ID, individual identifier, or call sign patch can be placed on the back. And it's no kidding hard tied to your helmet. So if you have seen guys like me run boot bands, zip ties, 550 cord, and use all sorts of ghetto ways to retain a battery pack to their helmet, I think that this is probably the superior option to be using, mainly because you can actually ensure an $800 piece of kit isn't going to go flying off your head when you're doing a special insert or just walking through the woods. Moving over to the left side of my helmet, I just have a small tasker light. So this is meant to go from red to white light, and I just use it for small tasks like reading notepads, going hands-on with my radio, or doing any other small task so I can see what I'm doing without actually having to look through my tubes in a dark environment. All right, guys. That concludes my video on helmet setup and night vision use. If you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to the guys at Forge Concepts. Thanks for watching.